Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and we have a movie review for you today. I think I might be talking about one of my favorite movies I have seen all year. Yes, we are diving into the new Danny Boyle, Alex Garland collaboration. We are talking about 28 years later.
6, 11, 5, 4.
It's been quite some time since we've returned to the world that we first met in 28 days later. Then we had 28 weeks later. Now time has passed and we are at 28 years. What a wild ride this was. I have not had this much fun with a horror movie all year. There's been a couple great ones that I've actually really enjoyed, but this one I was engaged. I was scared. Every time the camera would start shaking, every time we would enter a new environment, I was instantly tense. Like, it's hard to get that feeling. Like, I loved the movie Sinners this year. I loved Final Destination, Bloodline, The Monkey. There's been some really fun horror movies that have had me engaged, but none made me almost like clench my chair as much as this movie. I was uncomfortable many of the scenes, which is exactly a horror feeling I don't feel often. I don't feel on edge, uncomfortable, scared, frazzled often during these movies. This movie, many times, I felt just like I didn't want to be there. And I mean that in a positive way. I was just like, what are we doing? Leave this room. Why are we here? There's going to be infected. What are we doing? I loved that feeling. It was so engaging. And that's exactly what horror movies should be. I love a horror movie that makes us feel things, that makes us think. Maybe it's a metaphor. It's a pondering on grief. This movie touches on that a little bit. Or maybe these movies are just pure slapstick fun, wild. Let's just watch the crazy kills. Those are great too. But 28 years later is a weird mix of a heartfelt, dramatic, what they would call prestige, elevated horror, but it's also just a crazy zombie movie in many ways where it's just bloody kills, naked people running around, crazy action. There are so many elements to this movie, and it's one of those complete packages. I truly think we don't get movies like 28 years later too often. This is one of those kind of, again, perfect storm of a horror movie that has so many different elements, and I have to thank director Danny Boyle. He has never really truly left horror movies. He's ventured back in. He definitely understands scares, chills, and thrills, and I love that for Danny Boyle, but this is something that this isn't what you normally consider the Danny Boyle genre. Same thing with Alex Garland. He's played with Ex Machina. He's played with Annihilation. He definitely had Warfare and Civil War, which are both intense movies as well. We've seen Alex Garland definitely dip his toe back into this water, especially more than comparatively to Danny Boyle, but my goodness, what a return for both of these filmmakers, and it just feels like they're home. I often say, this is something I feel about Ryan Coogler this year with Sinners, or Steven Spielberg. It's like these great directors who make horror movies, and perfect horror movies, great horror movies, and then never come to the genre again. Like Ryan Coogler, please make another horror movie. Like, this is how I feel with Danny Boyle and Alex Garland here. Like, why are you guys not horror first directors? Why is this not your go-to genre? Because you nail it. I, again, was terrified and chilled throughout most of this movie, but then there was a moment, especially an unexpected moment, where I was touched, almost brought to tears by what they were talking about with grief, how a character has to handle a major loss in his life. These things were just intense and made me feel things. And then there's moments in this movie that were outwardly laugh out loud funny. Like, there is a moment at the end of this movie that you could tell me 1,000 things were happening and I would be like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. But this is what's happening, and this is how crazy it is. It's just a surprise of a movie. I thought I was gonna like it, and I ended up liking it a lot, but my surprise is how good it was and how much I really did love it. As much as we feel like Aaron Taylor-Johnson or Jodie Comer would be the main character, no, we follow a young actor. His character's name is Spike basically, and I loved this guy. I loved following through this journey. He's basically kind of in this island, which we know most of the island of the UK, all of this area, has been, it's been quarantined, it's isolated, you do not leave it. So they live on an island off of the mainland, so they're even more isolated. So we see our young character Spike grow up in this very isolated world. He doesn't know what cell phones are. He doesn't know what the modern world feels or looks like, especially in our current landscape. He's completely oblivious to that, which makes him for some fun fish out of water moments later on in the movie. So yeah, we're seeing this character kind of journey in his little small quarantine of the quarantine community, go off to the mainland multiple times for these journeys that he goes on. First, it's with his father, trying to connect, trying to understand his new position as a hunter. Maybe a little too young for that, as we see, definitely way too young for this. He was not mentally and emotionally prepared for this journey. So then we see him later on return with his mother in hopes to try to cure something that's going on with her. It's just two easy stories that I was just like, great, I understand this character's motivation. I understand this young kid. Maybe he doesn't make the best choices. Maybe there's times where I'm like, bro, really? You're gonna do that? But I like those moments in horror movies. I don't think every character in a horror film needs to be the most intelligent thinker. We don't know how we would be in high intense situations. Everyone in a horror movie, well, I would do that to avoid Jason, or oh, that's how I would beat the shark in Jaws. Is it? Is that what you think is going to happen? And I love that this movie is a good example of, you may think you know what's going to happen. You may be prepared and trained like this Spike character was, but he's not. He's not ready. He's still young. And when you're in the heat of the moment, it's intense. It's crazy. And I think this movie captures that very well. It's great. This young actor does so well. But I have to say, being around Aaron Taylor-Johnson, being around Jodie Comer, being around Ralph Fiennes, these are actors who are skilled, who are crazy, who are damn near giving it their all in this film. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is a great, aggressive father figure. Jodie Comer, she could have easily been sick mom. She could have easily been a thankless role in this, but she has so much heart and soul. And then Ralph Fiennes, my goodness, he comes in this movie and you feel it, like the gravitas, the weight of the movie goes up. There's also Jack O'Connor, Jack O'Connell here, if you know him from Sinners this year. He's great. He's not in this movie a lot, and when you do see him, you're gonna be like, that's your role? Great. I want to see more of you soon, hopefully in another film, if they want to continue with this specific story. I know there's going to be more in this new world of 28. I want to see what they can do. I want to see what else they can cook up, because again, what the story is here with these characters, with these actors, this is truly a must-see experience. Again, it's great direction, it's great acting, but it's just a powerful story and some good old classic horror fun. Out of everything in this movie, though, I said the acting, I said the directing, I said the horror, the scares, the chills were all there. But my goodness, technically, this movie is so insanely edited. It is such a wild, a thought-provoking, a almost experimental edit. Amazing. The cinematography, when something gets shot in the head, we feel it, we see it. The camera work is so inventive, so different. This movie just feels fresh. It feels different. It feels new. It also reminds me a lot of the classic 28 Days Later, though that movie film looks like it was filmed on someone's Ring camera nowadays. That movie looks bad, but this movie also has elements where it feels like it's shot on a camcorder. It feels so homemade. It still feels that like gritty, low budget vibe that we got from the original 28 Days Later. It's almost brought to life here in a new, fresher way that feels gritty and polished. It feels gritty and polished, which is two words that don't normally go together, but I love the aesthetic of this movie, and I think it's edited so well. It is filmed amazingly. The sound design, when things would roar and move through things, you would feel it. It would be so intense. This is just one of those movies that I'm blown away by the craftsmanship. And usually I like my editing, I like my sound design, I like my cinematography to not be the most flashy, to not be the most in your face. This movie, though, it's in your face. You know it's happening, and that's such a good quality to have. And it's again why I think this movie just stands out for me. I love seeing filmmakers just go, you want to see some cool shit? And they give us cool shit. And then it's like, I just am happy this movie was as good as it was. It definitely didn't need to be. I thought this was going to be stupid, fun, summer horror movie fun. And that's what it is. But there's thought-provokingness. There's actual genuine scares being built. There's something being said here. There's a universe being established. This movie just checks things off a list that it didn't need to, and it does it with amazing skill. I glowingly praised this movie for about, 10 minutes or so here? I have nothing but good things to say about 28 years later. I think some people are going to like it, I think some people are going to hate it, but I think that is also a good movie sign. If everyone was just meh on this movie, I would hate it. I'm so happy some people have some very visceral reactions. I know there's going to be some middle ground people who thought it was just okay. That's completely fair, but I'm one of those people who highly love this movie, but I'm also going to see the people who don't like it, and I'm going to understand. I'm not ignorant to some of the flaws that maybe are here. I don't really have many flaws. There's really nothing I would change, which is a sign of a good, for me as a critic, when there's not anything I would be like, well, what if we tightened up this? What if we did that? I can nitpick movies all day, but I don't want to with this movie. I just enjoyed what it had to offer, and it was just exactly when I sat down in that movie theater and this movie started, I expected one thing and it delivered on that, and then it gave me even more. What did you guys think of my review? What do you think of 28 years later? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to Flickering Myth for more videos just like this. Leave us a comment. I want to know what you all think. If you're a horror fan, I interviewed legendary horror actor Jason Voorhees himself, Kane Hodder, on this channel. Maybe we even talked about a secret new video game that's coming out. Make sure you guys check that out. If you want more horror content, let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's talk about 28 years later right down below.